She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Lakeysha Keysha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Lakeysha Keysha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. See, been with nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Lakeysha Keysha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. You don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Lakeysha Keysha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop.
Hey, 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 how is everybody doing? Y'all, I'm feeling so much better, and I'm going to tell y'all why. But let me just address one of the comments. And let me just tell y'all something. I love me. I love my life. I pretty much have everything that I want at my age of 50. There are some miserable people on YouTube. They be miserable. They can't get along with other people. Every time you turn around, miserable people are into it with people. Why do you think? These same people get into it with people all the time. And the funny part about it is, how do you have a beef with somebody that you don't know? How? How? I could care less what miserable people say, make up lies. I don't care. Let them continue because I'm happy. I love my life. I like people. I don't get jealous of other creators. I don't lie on these people. That's why I stay to myself, because you miserable because you don't have the life that you wanted, according to Funky Dineva. So I don't address certain people. People come back and tell me all the time that this miserable person is talking about me in their members only. I mean, you're miserable. That's the only thing I can understand, because originally, this miserable person, I would even watch their videos. I thought they were, okay, until I got tired of hearing that same story over and over again. Sometimes, and this is what y'all got to understand, because I was really wet behind the ears. I had to really figure it out. Some people come on YouTube with beef with other people because they just not interested. You've been on YouTube for 20 years and you still got 80 or 100,000 subs. You should be trying to figure out how to better yourself instead of constantly having a problem with people that you don't know. Like, if somebody supported you, came onto your live, said hi to you, was nice to you, why you mad at people that you don't know? So that's something that person has to deal with within themselves. I'm happy, baby. You can talk about me all you want. I'm still not going to talk about you because I just don't know why. And the comments about me stealing content, I guess that's the new lie that the big miserable person is going around telling everybody. She's miserable, and I hope she gets the mental help that she needs, because when you constantly get into it with people, baby, it's just because you're not interesting and you don't get enough people. So you create fake drama, so that people can watch. So people like that, just pray for them. They are always telling me little stuff this person is saying in her chat. Like, how old is this lady? Like, ma'am, shouldn't you be working on a baby? They said you want to have kids, you want to get married. Why don't you work on that instead of talking about people that really don't even know you like that? And then somebody who actually supported you and watched your stuff, but she's so negative and miserable that I don't even watch it, because it's that negative stuff that I hope, that she gets the help that she needs. I hope she stopped talking about how this, certain person stole her washer and dryer. I hope she gets the help that she needs. And my prayer is to her. I don't know why this lady is always talking about me, but I actually do know, because she wants to keep up drama. She needs to, some people actually, y'all, let me make sure y'all understand this, because I had to figure this out about certain people. Some people love negativity. Like, they thrive on negative vibes. Like, it's like their life is not good unless it's negative. And I'm the total opposite. Like, I don't like that. And when I go around people, if that's what I get, I run in the other direction. So I really pray that she get the help that she need. Like I said, I don't have any animosity toward anybody. I don't hate anybody, even though y'all really think I don't like Porsha, which I really be telling y'all how I feel. I don't really have that in my heart. So I just hope that she get the help that she need. And maybe she can be more interested if she focus on her content and not talking about people that don't even know her. I don't know what else to tell y'all. I don't know, but I had a really good day. I want to share something with y'all, and I think this is very important, and then I'm going to get into some of the topics. I had mentioned to y'all that I was on my journey to get healthy, to lose weight, because y'all, I'm 50 now. I'm not 35, 40. I am 50. I made 50 years this year. So I said that I am going to try to really eat better. Y'all, they scared the shit out of me. I went to the doctor. Remember, I kept telling y'all I wasn't feeling good, yada, yada. I done got every test known to man, okay? And then I went to one doctor. I ain't like what they said. I done went to another one. Okay, so let's start with my first doctor that I went to. I said, listen, lady, I need to lose some weight. Y'all need to give me something. So they tried to give me different stuff, and the insurance company wouldn't approve it. And I said, that's crazy, because I got Blue Cross and Blue Shield, and I normally, it ain't like I'm skinny. I can get some of this Ozempic or something that they got. Anyway, they kept denying me for the medication. So at this point, I'm like, I'm gonna get something, because I'm just gonna go to my other doctor, right? So I go to my other doctor, and I'm like, listen, I need to lose weight. So get this. Get home. Now I'm looking on the app to see if the insurance approved it. So I get an update say, you've been approved for Ozempic. I said, how the hell I'm going to get Ozempic? Because I thought Ozempic is only for diabetics now. So I'm just like, I don't know what that lady did, but as long as I can get it, I'm happy. So she was like, you can get it. You are diabetic now. I'm like, damn, I know I'm greedy and fat, need to lose some damn weight, but okay, girl. So listen here. So I start taking, the Ozempic, and now I'm like, oh, hell no. I got to lose weight, because I'm not going to be a diabetic. Keep in mind, I'm taking it, y'all. I done lost 15 pounds now already. So now I go back to the other doctor, because keep in mind, I go to different doctors, because I don't just take what one person says. So I go to the doctor, and I had lost 10. Well, actually, I had lost 14, but since I kept my shoes on, he said it was 10 pounds. So he was like, well, you're not a diabetic no more. Okay, that's good. But how you go from being a diabetic in 30 days to now you're not a diabetic, right? So I'm just like, okay, but y'all know what happened? The first actually, she was a nurse practitioner. She gave me a prescription and said that I was a diabetic just to give me the medication. Now, I don't know why this lady did this. Now, when the doctor came out, and I had went and saw the doctor, he was like, you're not a diabetic. I'm happy. But in my mind, I'm like, damn, how you go from being one to not being one? So I was like, well, whatever he say, I'm just happy. So at this point, I'm really like, I'm going to work out. I'm going to do everything. So I go see doctor number 3 now. And she was like, so you got Ozempic? I was like, yeah. She was like, well, how? I said, because they said, I'm a diabetic. She was like, how are you a diabetic when you were just here in April and you were not a diabetic? She said, you were pre, which means eat better, do better. She said, but she said, you're not diabetic. And I said, well, that's what they told me. She said, do you got your test results? I said, well, let's log into the portal. So I log into the portal and she was like, come over here. So she looking at my phone and she's showing me in the system where it says this has to be your level. I think mine was like 6.3 or something. She's like, you are not a diabetic. She said she misdiagnosed you. She said it's not a problem for you now because you don't pay for your own health care. She said, but had you would have been paying for your own health care, this will be a problem. So this is the lesson in that. I'm not a diabetic, which is good, but they scared shit out of me so bad that your girl is eating right, exercising, I'm doing everything. But the reason that I wanted to bring this up is don't just go with what like one person says, because if I had went with what this lady was saying, which I'm like, dang, I get it, but damn, she misdiagnosed me and gave me the wrong information. Now, when I went back to my other doctor, she's like, no, which made sense because when I saw the other doctor at that same place, he was like, you're not a diabetic. And I said, well, how? I mean, if they said I was, 35, 40 days ago, how you go from one, being one to not being one? He gonna say because you lost the weight. Nigga, I lost 14 pounds. You act like I lost 40 pounds. So I just wanted to tell y'all that. Just, take care of yourself. Don't go by what one doctor say. Just make sure y'all, see multiple doctors, because that was a shocker to me. For one, I don't want to be diabetic. I wasn't. But the fact of the matter that you gave me the wrong test results. I just wanted to let y'all know that. But I am losing weight. I'm telling y'all, I don't want to be no diabetic. Okay, now let's jump into the topics now. Listen. Who y'all want to start with first? Y'all want to start with Porsha, or y'all want to start with Bambi? Let's start with Bambi first. We're going to start with her. So if you all have saw anything about Love and Hip Hop, you know that Bambi had gotten engaged. And if y'all didn't know, let me just remind y'all, because it was all over the internet. Let's kind of get into it if y'all forgot. Let's get
She had to bring in the cake. Okay, right. This cake is sponsored by Dennismckinley. Hold on. It ain't no good. It ain't no good. Y'all got to send me. I ain't cooking it. Oh, what does that mean? What you proposing?
That's a happy birthday. Moody cake, girl.
You ain't saying yes or no. That's an engagement. Come on, Whitney.
Okay, I'm crying. Because you said when you marry, you gonna give me that card. Mama, how you feel? It ain't over yet. What's happening right now?
Hold on, what does that mean? What you proposing? Is that
That's a happy birthday. Moody cake, girl. What's this?
That's an engagement.
Okay, so y'all pretty much get it. So they were engaged. And I was happy for Bambi, but listen, let me just say this before I get into it. the best thing that I ever did for myself was to love me. I ain't seeking and looking. Now, if I meet somebody, okay, but nobody, my happiness is not in nobody but me. So I was so happy, when she found this guy, and I guess it seemed to be legit. But here's the deal. You can't be moving fast. Now, I don't know if she was moving fast, but it looked like she was moving fast. Well, y'all listen. Now they are reporting that this Negro got a whole family and that he possibly, now I'm going to say possibly because, these blogs, now that I'm learning, y'all know, because I'm new, I'm not going to sit up here and act like I know everything. These blogs be not knowing what the hell they be talking about either. Okay. So allegedly, he done used Bambi to get on Love and Hip Hop, and they trying to say he got a whole family. Now, I don't know if he got a whole family, but let's get into what they're saying, which is making it seem a little bit crazy because if, something wasn't right, why won't he just come out and say what it is? So he posted, let's get into what he posted. So he posted, and most fathers did this. If the father didn't do it, the kid did it. You post your daddy, you post, it's Father's Day. So that's what people did. So Rayface, which is the name he goes by on social media, he posted his son. I can't see his son's face, but it looked like him to me. Then I think this is the same son. So possibly this is his daughter. Okay, but let me show y'all what's missing out here. So he posted this video, but let me show y'all what he left out. So what he did was he left out a picture, because let me show you all what is being reported by It's Only Entertainment. Because if y'all see, somehow he changed it and took out a picture, and I'm going to show y'all because he posted his, I don't know if his baby mother or his ex-wife, but here's the deal. Can y'all tell me, why do some women get mad when men have like children by somebody else, or if he was in a relationship with somebody else? Let them men acknowledge those women. Like, why do some women get so obnoxious and angry because a man is talking about a woman that was in his life? That is just crazy to me. I think that's like some kind of insecurity stuff. So this is what he originally posted, y'all. Okay, so maybe that's one of the children's mother, or maybe she's the mother to both of them, but he posted this. And in all honesty, by him being married, or not married, engaged to Bambi, I wouldn't look at this as a disrespectful post. I guess I don't understand, why is it that if you're not with a person anymore, it has to be so hostile? I just never understood women I did understand them, but I didn't understand why they needed to create havoc in their, significant other or their husband's life with a prior ex, just because they want to seem so much better. But he, posted this. Oh, somebody said they locking hands. Yeah, I did see. Oh, I didn't see that part, but yeah, he is locking hands. I didn't see that, y'all. I guess, but he posted this. Okay, but let's get into what the picture, what's actually on there. It says reality TV romance has taken yet another hit, and this time it's Bambi at the center of the drama. The Love and Hip Hop Atlanta star Fiance rapper Rayface is being exposed for allegedly faking their relationship for clout and television time. So they trying to say he got a whole nother family. I don't know. And so y'all just pointed this out to me. He is holding a lady hand. Now, I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but I don't know. That could be just a little bit too much. But I don't know, y'all. What if this is an old picture that he posted, though? I don't know. It says, over Father's Day weekend, Rayface posted a carousel. Oh, a carousel. That's a lot of images celebrating the holiday, but fans quickly noticed something was off. Among the photos of his two children was a surprising addition, a woman who many believe to be the mother of his kids. The cozy nature of the family pics sparked immediate speculation about Rayface's true relationship status. Now, listen to this, y'all. Within hours, he deleted the images of the woman from the post, but by then, the damage had already been done. The internet doesn't miss a beat, and neither did Bambi. Social media detectives, because y'all know there is the social media detectives, noticed that Bambi unfollowed Rayface shortly after the post went up. Now, why she unfollow him though? Something ain't right. I mean, it's giving something, the fact that she unfollowed him. Okay, y'all, this is what I'm saying. Like, it says that she unfollowed him. What is that all about? It says Rayface shortly after the post went up. And so he went back and he kind of took her out and posted it again, is what they're saying. And it also says that shortly after the post, wait a minute. So they said Bambi erased all pictures of him from her profile, which is crazy. Bambi and Rayface just had an engagement party last week, but looks like this love story is over before it even got started. Word on the street is that Rayface has a show on Tubi. Oh, wait a minute, y'all. I missed that part. Did y'all see that? It said Rayface got a show on Tubi. Wait a minute. I know y'all see this. Y'all gotta see this. Wait a minute, y'all. Look at this. It says, oh my goodness. Rayface has a show on Tubi with his family. Neither Bambi nor Rayface has officially commented on the situation, but judging by the social media activity, the relationship is likely over. The latest scandal serves as yet another cautionary tale about mixing fame, love, and reality TV. And he says none of this is true. What y'all think? They said he has a show on Tubi with his family. And Bambi done went and erased everything. What are y'all thoughts? What y'all thinking? I mean, I don't know, because I get what y'all saying. You know, in this picture, they are holding hands. But what if he just posted an old picture? The fact that Bambi went back and deleted everything, don't that kind of maybe show that maybe she's found out something else? I don't know, but it's giving something ain't right, because listen, I missed the part where they said he has a whole show on Tubi with his family. What's that all about? What y'all thinking? What are y'all thinking? Yeah, we're not talking about the misery no more, because I'm too happy and too blessed to talk about people like that. Yeah, hopefully she gets some help. Oh, shout out to Aisha Ward. Thank you so much. But y'all, I don't know. It did kind of seem like Bambi was moving quickly. But I mean, in all honesty, if I were to go back and look at, no, I wouldn't. Because I'm not going to say that. But you know, maybe she trusted this dude. I mean, if, you know, when we were watching the show, she said that, you know, she kept it friendly. Maybe, I don't know, by hiding it here. Girl, you should have got a private investigator, because they talking about he got a show on Tubi with his family. What is that all about? But they saying that they over with. They are saying that these two are in fact over with. But I want to show y'all something else that I thought was very much interesting. Let's kind of get into this. He still has a lot of you know, stuff on his Instagram with regards to Bambi, and let's kind of get into that. But it looks like Bambi has pretty much took his tail off of her page. So if y'all look at his page, he still has videos of her up. So does this necessarily mean, okay, that could be true, maybe it was a TV time sort of relationship, but he still has the stuff up about her? he hasn't removed it. It looks like, he has a YouTube. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Allegedly, I know they had stated that he had moved down here. Who knows? I mean, by her deleting everything from her social media, what y'all think is giving storyline? Y'all think is giving fake relationship? I don't know, because from my standpoint, I can't say Bambi doesn't look like the type that a fake a relationship, because I feel like, with these reality shows, at some point they got to come with something. Is it fake? Who knows? She hasn't said anything. He hasn't said anything. And the fact that they're saying this man has a whole show on Tubi with his new family, that seems like something is just not adding up. So I don't know. Are these two broken up? The fact that he posted pictures of a woman and then went back and removed it is crazy, instead of just saying, these are my, my daughter's mom, or my kid's mom. Why does it have to be negativity? I mean, if, let's say, because I'm never having any more kids, and nobody better not mention it to me if they want me to ever call them again. But I would, if I met somebody, obviously they already had kids, and they posted a picture of their children's mother, I don't have a problem with that. In fact, I like dudes that, celebrate their kid's mother. I don't like all that negative stuff. Don't come by me talking about your ex, because I'm really not going to like you. So we have to see, is it going to be like a storyline sort of thing? It could be, because here's another thing to think about. A lot of people from Love and Hip Hop done got fired. Shekinah ain't there. What's his name? It's a few of those people that they just let go. You got Shekinah. What is the other boy name that was arguing with Scrappy? He's not there. So they've let go a lot of people. So maybe this is giving storyline. Maybe Bambi is coming with something. Chaotic. Yes, Chaotic is gone, but it's a few others. Chaotic. And then y'all see the situation that Tasha K been reporting on with Yandy all of a sudden. Do y'all think that's real, or do y'all think this is more storyline stuff? So yeah, we don't know, but it is a little bit odd. Now, who y'all want to talk about next? Y'all, let's talk about Brittany Eady, honey, because it looks like Bravo is saying they may just scrap I almost said Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, because they said that, they were trying to give story, and, it looks like they are talking about shutting down the entire Real Housewife. Wait a minute, y'all. I read that wrong. They said they're thinking about whether or not to shut down the entire, I thought it was Real Housewives of Atlanta. But according to a bunch of articles with various blogs, it says that they are thinking about shutting down the entire franchise following the $20 million lawsuit from Real Housewives of Atlanta newcomer Brittany Eady, a move one insider claims has pushed Bravo into full crisis mode. And in all honesty, you say Ozempic is killing people. Oh well. So in all honesty, I feel like, with this situation with Britt Eady, Bravo, you did hire a fan of the show. I mean, so I don't know, but it looks like they are talking about they may be done with the show, y'all, because of this entire situation. But is it just this situation? Because we can go back in the books. They've been sued a bunch of times. So I don't know. Is it the Britt Eady situation, or is it just because they're just not doing things right? Because even with everything that happened and whatever Kenya did, I mean, they still had to film it. Is that correct? I mean, you would have thought that, they could have made a modification to what was showed. But I mean, I wasn't there. Was it actually showed? But then, she said it wasn't her. So I don't know what this lawsuit is going to look like. Now they, go on to talk about, that Britt Eady filed this lawsuit after castmate Kenyamoore allegedly humiliated her on camera, and it was with a blurred picture, explicit picture titled, "Who is this hoe?" Now, Brittany Eady is accusing the network of defamation, emotional distress, and creating a hostile work environment. Now, listen, with regards, y'all, to that hostile work environment, now, I don't know about y'all, but I have saw that on various different lawsuits with other people. Somebody said because they were okay. So with regards to the Britt Eady situation, I feel like it's probably not just a Britt Eady thing. A lot of these, people that suing Bravo is pretty much saying a lot of the same thing. Now, the only thing I will say when she say defamation, I don't think anything the network did defamed her, because people had an idea of who she was based on what she did in the past. So I don't know about that, but emotional distress, creating a hostile work environment. How is this going to turn out? Now, listen to this. It says, according to Rob Shutter, Substack, I don't know who that is, Bravo refused to let Eady preview the poster before airing, despite her repeated requests. They wanted drama, and guess what they got now? They got court dates. They got court dates. Now, we all know, they cut Kenyamoore even from coming to the reunion, and they saying that she may not return, especially with, the legal battles and everything that is going on. Now, as I told y'all before, there has been other people that has, different lawsuits, and, including Bethany Frankel, Leah McSweeney. So various people have actually sued Bravo. Y'all, and look at Claudia Jordan in the comment. Claudia says, worst casting choice in ages. Now she gonna take the whole showdown and cause all the cast and crew, tons of hardworking people, to lose their jobs. So here's my deal in terms of this Britt Eady thing. I feel like Britt Eady, she was new to reality. Like, there is no way that they should have allowed her to come on this show and do what she did and sue them. Like, it's like, y'all been doing this show for how long, and y'all gonna let this newcomer come on the show and pretty much sue y'all? Like, I think that they should have did a little bit more. I feel like in that environment, especially when it gets to reality TV, that they can, they can sue for a lot of things. Now, I don't know if y'all heard this. Maybe y'all have. Exactly. She did the threaten. Exactly. Did y'all hear about one of the reasons why they're saying that she actually did not go to the reunion? Did anybody hear about that? If y'all know or heard what actually happened and the reason why she did not come to the reunion, put it in the chat. So I don't see anything. So if y'all have heard as to why Britt Eady, nobody knows. Okay. So this is what I heard, that she allegedly got bucket naked, took it all off. If y'all remember, not this week, but last week, remember she started, taking her clothes off. Now, word on the street, allegedly, I don't know if this is true, they saying that she took it all off. Now, somebody sent me something yesterday. Well, I've been had it, but I just had never watched it. But she allegedly took it all off. And they said that she took everything off in front of everybody, the people that's filming, everybody. And they said that, I guess they sent her that, and I guess she didn't like it. I don't know. That is what I heard. I heard that the girl took everything off and was straight booty naked. That's what I heard. And they also said that she actually had a problem for the simple fact that that was being aired. Okay. So of course they not airing the girl with no clothes on, but what people are saying, or what the people that were there is allegedly saying, is that she felt embarrassed. Now, I mean, ma'am, if you took all of your stuff off and was running around here booty hole naked, okay, I don't know how you're going to be embarrassed about that when you did it. So that is what I've heard. Y'all didn't hear that because I don't see it in the chat. Right. Right. And also too, I guess we don't really know how this is gonna end. There's something wrong. Yes, Nola, there, listen, and I think I done told y'all this before. Brit is a beautiful girl, but something ain't right up here. Yeah, something ain't right. I also saw, I got a picture of her mother and her husband the other day because I saw them when I was out. I saw them. I'll probably post it. But yeah, okay, somebody else heard that. Okay, yeah. That is what the word on the street is, that the woman got butt. Obviously, they don't check these girls' brain up here because Brit seemed to be unstable to me. And when I say unstable, it's like, most people, let's say if you having a disagreement, you having an argument and it can escalate. It seemed like this girl go from 0 to 1,000, like something, I don't know, something to me is not right with her. I don't think that she was a good fit. Now, I know, a lot of people are Kenya supporters. I mean, Kenya is okay. Feel like Kenya could have handled it in a different way, but I still don't think she should have been kicked off the show. I really don't, because the fact of the matter is that they allowed her to go that far. I feel like they actually bear some responsibility because, they didn't just put some stuff up there, and I mean, she didn't just put some stuff up there and they start filming it. I mean, they knew what it was when she was doing it. So I just feel like, I don't think that that is cool. I think that Bravo needs to bear some more responsibility. Will they shut down all the franchises? I don't know. Actually, when I first read that, y'all, I thought it said Atlanta, but now that I'm going back reading it, they're going to shut the entire franchise down for this girl. Who knows? We have to see. Well, absolutely, it was definitely serious, and it kind of goes to show the environment in which they tape in, because why didn't they not take anything serious? And in fact, Kenya, was mentioning that they said they did this investigation. An investigation has to be done that moment. You can't let somebody leave talking about you did an investigation 2 to 3 weeks later. So why was, what Kenya said, why was that never taken seriously? So the fact of the matter is that she sued them is because she pretty much just played them and just saw how stupid they was with the way they was just letting things run, because there is no way that she should have been able to leave without her belongings checked, because I believe she did have one. You know what I mean? Because why are you even saying that? And in all honesty, too, y'all, now, I have to say, I don't know if this is true because I haven't saw it, but people had been telling me when she first got on the show that there was a video, and maybe it's gone now, in which she had gotten into an altercation with somebody at the gas station, and they said it's a video where Britt Eady is threatening the same thing, pow, pow, somebody else. So what a coincidence that they had said that, and this is before that stuff even aired with Kenya. But it's very interesting what y'all saying in the chat. Right. Yeah. So I mean, I feel like, I don't know, are they gonna let the franchise go because of this? Maybe. I feel like they're getting a lot of complaints, they're getting a lot of lawsuits. People have even complained about the amount of alcohol. Yeah, she giving some issues. People complain about the amount of alcohol and yada yada. It's, she saw, an easy way to get her a few dollars. Now, y'all, we cannot forget about Porsha Williams. Now, with regards to that, thank y'all so much, because I've been seeing y'all in the chat like, dang, y'all just using her content. I didn't really care about people using it because, as content creators, we do see stuff that we use. And I'm gonna be honest, I found stuff on blogs, and now that I'm learning blogs, they obviously take people's stuff and use it too. But what my hope was, if you're going to use it, you just say where you got it from. That's all you have to do. It becomes a problem when you use it and you just using it as if it's yours. So I have taken down almost all of their videos. That's why now you see them with the audio. And in all honesty, I don't care if you use it. use it, but at least say where you got it from. If you don't have the decency to say where you got it from, then you can't use it. So I didn't really care about that. But it's just a simple fact that, I had to take off my whole day to go down there, at least use it and say, this is where I got it from. But that's how some people are. So with regards to the Porsha Williams situation, I know we really haven't had the opportunity to talk about it. Y'all had a whole bunch of questions and stuff that y'all was putting into the chat. And, some people was happy. And in all honesty, if Porsha could refinance the house, or not even refinance it, can she even afford it? Okay. And, somebody had put in a chat, I don't remember which one, it was on a blog, and they says, well, Simon said it was 50 and she said it was 20. Well, she was saying the cost of the mortgage and he was saying the cost of everything. And I said, this person has to be slow, because even if the mortgage was 20,000, you're telling me that the mortgage would be 20 and the cost to maintain would be 30. Does that make any sense? So you're saying to maintain the property is more than the mortgage? Absolutely not. What I got from Porsha's testimony is that she didn't know how much it was, because hell, she didn't pay it, because there is no way that you would think that a mortgage is 40,000. I'm sorry, it's 20,000 when it's 50. Now, if she would have said it was like 45, it's something like that. But to be 20 opposed to 40, 20 opposed to 50, that doesn't make any sense. So from my standpoint, hi, girl, that's legal. So in terms of, from my standpoint, because Simon is no longer in the country, y'all know he in Nigeria, how is she going to enforce it? So if she can sell a house, obviously she can keep the house, but the part of the prenup that she may never see is the monies that she's waiting for him to pay to her. So obviously, if she sells the house, she would be entitled to that. But, I saw a lot of people, in the comments like, he has to pay her. Well, the only thing with that is he is no longer in the United States. So by him not being in the United States, how are they going to enforce that? If he pays, that'll be great, right? Because then she gets the money. But in terms of her actually receiving anything, I feel like she would actually have to sell the house. And keep in mind, y'all, if he does not pay her those amounts, he doesn't get any of the equity, right? So essentially, if Simon does not pay her the monthly amount that is set forth in the prenup, then guess what? Pretty much the house is hers. She doesn't have to give him anything. So two things has to happen. She got to be able to afford that mortgage, right? She got to be able to refinance it, and she got to be able to pay the bill. So that's a lot of mortgage. So can she afford it? It's pretty much where it all lies. I know some of y'all was in the comments saying that, somebody had stated that Porsha was doing a video or something, and y'all so nasty in the comments. Somebody was saying that she wasn't keeping up with the maintenance or something. That's what somebody told me. I don't really look at it. I said, I got to go and look, but that would be the win for Porsha. She would need to be able to pay the mortgage, because again, if Simon doesn't pay, how's she going to get it? What you're saying? Girl, that's legal. I'm going to put this. Y'all can see it, but it says, yes, you're right. She'll have to sell it, then take her money off the top right. So, if he don't pay it, she get to keep the house. Will he pay? We'll have to see. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I don't think he's going to pay, because, think about it. Simon tried to not enforce the prenup for whatever reasons. He felt like he shouldn't have to pay. So if he felt like he shouldn't have to pay, he'd been deported to Nigeria. Why would he pay? Y'all think he gonna pay? Well, according to what they said in court, Jay, this is what they said. They said it was $1 million of equity. And this was my question. When they said it was $1 million of equity, the first thing came to my mind. I said, how could it be $1 million worth of equity when he put down 2.4 million. So if nothing at all, it should be at least 2.4, right? If the house didn't gain any equity. But somebody told me that when they purchased the property, that they actually bought the property furnished. So that's where I said, oh, well, that would make sense. So, with it being $1 million worth of equity, obviously, if he doesn't pay her anything, then it would just be her equity. But then again, she would essentially have to pay the mortgage, which Simon is saying everything is about 50,000. And also somebody was saying this, I want to let y'all know, somebody was in the chat saying, oh, the interest rates, let me make sure y'all understand. On a house, that amount, you don't get regular interest rates. I don't know if y'all familiar with jumbo loans. If you are not, go Google it. I believe the jumbo loan, it has to be like 800,000 or something or and up. I could be wrong, but when you're refinancing a property in the millions, you don't get regular interest rates. I just want y'all to know that. So the interest rate that you would get or I would get because I'm just buying a regular house would not be the same interest rate for a person that's buying a property that's worth millions. So I just want y'all to know that. If y'all don't know about jumbo loans, just go Google it. So in terms of her interest rate, don't ask me what it would be. I have never had or bought anything for that amount, but I know because I used to do mortgages. So her interest rate would not be what mine gonna be when I close. So I have no idea what y'all saying in the chat. Somebody said he's definitely not paying. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think he's gonna pay it because I'm gonna be honest. If I was him, I probably wouldn't pay it either. I don't know how they would enforce that. And girl that's legal said he's mad, ain't paying nothing. And I'm gonna be honest, because I was there. I just think that he really doesn't want to pay it because Simon said he had his business or his network was like 361 million, or it was in the 300 millions. I gotta say the same as what the judge said. How did the 300 and something million leave so fast? So, if you said you had 300 and something million on a prenuptial agreement, so, apparently when they draft these prenuptial agreements, they have to put their income. I'm a regular person, child. I ain't got nothing. So I don't know nothing. They never did a prenup. So on there, which is him giving his income, that's what he said he made. So that's a huge drop. So I don't know. And then y'all got to understand this. One of the other things they said in court, if your income has changed, where's the proof? As I told y'all, I said, listen, I'm a regular person. So let's say I'm working a job and I lose my job. Okay, I'm going to apply for unemployment, right? And then if they say, if I got to go to court or if I have to show proof, what would I bring? I'm going to bring some from unemployment that say this what she get from unemployment. So if y'all think about it, he didn't provide no proof that his income changed. And that was one of the things the judge said. And then, with Porsha, if y'all notice in the videos, I did cut it off a few times. During the time that Porsha testified about her income, I didn't have the video on. And I know what it is. And I'm going to be honest, she ain't not with that house, with that money that she says she get. But one of the things that y'all got to understand is Simon was the one that was giving Porsha stuff in the prenup. She wasn't giving him anything. So, they argue Porsha wasn't providing her income, but in the prenup, it was Simon that was paying Porsha. It was really nothing that Porsha was doing except for, she can stay in the house for 36 months. He has to pay her this. There was really nothing, that she was really responsible for. But what they were trying to do is to get her to provide her income so that they can say, oh, she makes this amount of money. She can take care of herself. But the judge wasn't buying it because the judge was like, look, you all negotiated this prenup for as long as you were married. So what the judge was saying is, if you guys, did this prenup so fast and, there was certain consideration that was not giving, just maybe I can look at maybe changing it. But the simple fact that y'all negotiated this thing as long as y'all been married, I'm not changing it. So, you know, the judge wasn't moving. He wasn't changing it. And we sat there from 9:30 a.m. I left at 7:15 p.m. all for them to put on a performance. And the judge said, I ain't changing it. So that was pretty much it. Tasha K said, Tasha K said 80K an episode. How Tasha know about 80K per episode? Who told her that? I don't know. I ain't saying nothing. But yeah, so yeah, Simon is not, I don't think he's gonna pay. I'm just reading y'all comments. So I don't know, y'all. That, like I said, the thing about it is he is not in America. He gone. So what really can they do to him? I mean, in all honesty, with this administration, Simon may not be able to come back here until Trump is gone, child, because we don't know how that's going to work out. Tasha K said that, well, I ain't saying nothing about that lady income because I said when I went to court, I wasn't going to say nothing. But is Tasha K right? I don't know. I don't know who told her that. But we have to see. We have to see. And, you know, Tasha K, she been talking to somebody. But she wasn't talking to me because I said I wasn't going to mention that lady income. But what y'all saying? What y'all saying in the chat? Oh, a good one. That's a good one. So Porsha said that she paid Simon's child support. Let me just tell y'all something. That was the raggediest, unorganized court hearing that I've ever heard of. People testifying to stuff that they provided no proof of. I don't know if she if she paid his child support. Porsha, if y'all see, they had I think I showed it. It's a spreadsheet. And on the spreadsheet, she listed her expenses. Simon's attorney was like, pretty much, where is the proof? You know, there was no proof provided. So her saying she paid his child support, I don't know if she did or not, because she never provided any type of proof. I mean, bank statement, she didn't provide any of that. So I don't know. Like I said, that was the most craziest court hearing that I've ever heard of, because everybody was testifying to stuff. No proof. She said, I paid this. No proof. She said, I paid the mortgage. Girl, where is your, then when asked, like Simon's attorney says, well, how did you pay it? She's like, I don't know. My accountant did it. So she says, well, did you call it in? Did you do a check by phone? She knew nothing. So in all honesty, I get it. You have an accountant that paid things like that. Even if your accountant paid it, you mean to tell me you don't check your bank statements? Porsha don't have money like that. She ain't no Oprah Winfrey or no Tyler Perry. You gonna know those thousands of dollars out of your account. So she was like, I don't know. It was just too many, I don't know this. I don't know that. So I don't know. I don't know. Okay, you said Tasha K spoke directly to Simon. So this is what I'm gonna say. I believe that Tasha K spoke directly to Simon, and I'm gonna just tell y'all why I think I'm gonna put it up in the chat what y'all said that he told Tasha K. Now I believe that Tasha K spoke directly to Simon based on what this one say. Tasha K said 80K an episode. So I believe that Tasha K did speak to Simon. But what else are y'all saying? Yeah, so I believe that she did. So with regards to, yeah, you don't have to pay nothing if you're in another country. That don't have nothing to do with us. What else y'all saying? What y'all saying in the chat? I'm just looking at what y'all saying. So yeah, like I said, I don't know about the child support. She provided no nothing with regards to that. So have y'all had the opportunity? Did y'all watch the videos that I put up? I know most of you all did. with regards to the court hearing. If y'all didn't, y'all can go ahead and check it out. I put up, I believe, 3 videos. I think the final one is extremely long because at that point I was so tired of cutting it up. So I was like, I'm just going to show y'all the whole video. Yeah, I believe she did, just based on that, that comment that y'all said. I believe that she did speak to Simon because I don't know where she would have got that from. You know what? This is a good comment. This is a good comment. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm not a Porsha fan. And I'm going to tell you why I'm not a Porsha fan. I just don't like women that use their body for money. I think that there are so many other things that you can do. And I feel like as a woman, when a man loves you, like you, they just want to give you stuff. So I just don't like promiscuous when you go around, being hoish. I just don't like that. I was never raised like that. But what I would say, when you say Porsha married Simon knowing that she wasn't going to stay with him long enough, I agree. But this is one thing that I understand too. Simon is 61 years old. So listen, I'm 50. I'm not 61. So I feel like he knew what he was doing when he did it. Now, I just feel like when you get to a certain age, you just can't, think like a child, like, oh, we're going to be forever. Like, I feel like when he did the prenup, and I feel like the judge did, felt like this as well, that the judge was like, wait a minute, they negotiated this. Like, I feel like when he did the prenup, he knew what he was doing, because what damn prenup? You can just marry somebody today and divorce them tomorrow and get pretty much you set up for at least 15 months. So why would he sign a thing like that? I mean, that prenup didn't even say we got to be together for 3 years. It literally said, I'm going to pay you for however many months we were together. So it's like, I mean, but in terms of the house, it always said that he would have to pay the mortgage for 36 months. Now, I don't know if y'all had the opportunity to watch Porsha's testimony, but when I listened to Porsha's testimony, I was like, I understand. So Porsha was not going to marry him unless he provided her some security that if they got a divorce, that she did not have to leave. And what she said, if I'm correct, she said, because in my first marriage, she was like, pretty much, I didn't leave with anything. So when she said that, I understood, how she felt, how she could likely feel. Like, listen, if y'all recall, when Porsha was with, what's his name, Cordell, he literally put her out and locked the door. So in this marriage, what she said was she told him that if they were going to divorce, that she wanted security. Now, one of the things she said because she had stopped working, y'all remember she stopped working for Dish Nation. She had stopped working for the Real Housewives of Atlanta. She said because she was not working, she said the agreement was that he would pay everything for 3 years. And she gave a pretty good explanation. She said the reason that they had picked the 36 months, she said, because she knew by her not working that in order for her to, if she had to refinance the house, because keep in mind, in the prenup, it says that if they get a divorce, he has to pay the mortgage for 36 months, and she would have to refinance it into her name by the 36 months or before. But why would you do it before when he got to pay the mortgage, right? She said, so that was the reason that they put the 36 months. So what that's pretty much saying is she wasn't going to marry him unless he put security in there that he was going to be responsible for the house. And when he testified, he said the same thing. So when it came to the testimony about the prenup, they both agreed. So when you think about it, why would the judge not enforce it? Because Simon said the same thing. He said he wanted to provide her some security. He said he knew that, she wasn't working and that she had quit her jobs, and he wanted to provide her some security if they were to get a divorce. So when I heard that, I was just like, what's the dispute here? The dispute is, obviously, I think he's angry because he probably thought that Porsha was something that she wasn't. And now it's like, I wish I hadn't did that. But unfortunately, it don't work like that. You cannot sign your name on a dotted line and say you're going to give these things, but then, the person now doing whatever it is, or now you're figuring out that they were, allegedly cheating, and now you're wishing you shouldn't have never did it, but it's too late. It's too late. So I understood, when she said what she said, why she did it, but the simple fact that he had agreed to it. Yes. Now here's the deal. What you said, and I gotta agree, I was feeling the same way you felt, and I still feel that way, because in enforcing the prenup, and keep in mind, I learned this when I went to court, because the prenuptial agreement is not online. Y'all know how we can go and get their divorce filing and we can read all of that. You cannot read. The prenup is 250 some pages and it ain't online. Okay. So here's what I learned. Okay. That Porsha had violated some terms of the prenup, but guess what? The judge felt like they both violated it. The judge felt like that they were going back and forth, because as I mentioned to y'all before, the judge done looked at both of their social media pages. The judge knows that Porsha is on YouTube. He done looked at all of that. So what the judge said is, y'all both did it. So the judge wasn't feeling like what Porsha did was enough to say, hey, we're going to say that she violated it, because if she violated it, so did he, right? So the judge wasn't concerned with that little nuance of, Porsha saying whatever she said about Simon, because the judge felt like Simon did the same. But one of the things that the judge did, and I was like, the judge is just clearly over this. The judge said, I'm going to enforce the prenup, but keep in mind, y'all, the prenup said that Porsha could not film in the house. I learned this when I went to court. The reason that Simon wanted to put that in the agreement is because he knew, obviously, she was a reality star and he didn't want to be filmed. He didn't want his home to be filmed, his environment, or his children without proper notice. So, Porsha filming in the house is a violation of the prenup. But y'all, guess what? The judge did not care. So the judge said, I'm going to enforce the prenup, but I ain't going to enforce her not being able to film in the house. And I was like, what? And that just let me know the judge was over it, because I think the judge kind of felt like, maybe Simon was really trying to get back at Porsha, and this was kind of one of the ways. So he did not allow, he did not say that she couldn't film in the house, which is crazy. And that is what, Simon's attorney was saying, like, wait a minute, how are you enforcing the prenup but not enforcing all of it? And Simon's attorney definitely had an issue with that. Now, you said, how many days did the judge give him to appeal? So let me kind of explain to you that. You said it's the standard 30 days. I can't answer that question, because you remember when I don't know if you saw my video where I showed the last 3 hours of it, but all of the computers and everything cut off. So in the end, he was, he had given his ruling. He had asked both parties if they had questions, and, they were having dialogue, and the computers just went down. So everybody disappeared. And at that point, it was 7:15 p.m. And I said, I'm about to get up out of here because I'm ready to go. Like, everything is cutting off. So I don't know. We would actually have to wait until the order to see it, because what I'm thinking is they probably had to reconvene maybe the next day by phone, because the whole entire system cut off. I wouldn't even be able to tell you, because at that point I was ready to go, because I was fearful being in the city, going in a parking garage, and it was about to get dark. So I was like, I'm about to get up out of here. Porsha violated the main aspects of the prenup. That judge was biased working with the attorney. Yeah, but good thing they won't have that judge in appeal, because it will be in a different court. You know what? In all honesty, this was my, when I looked at, because I watched it again, the reason why I would say that the judge was biased, because the judge enforced the prenup, but not all of it. So how do you do that? So how do you enforce the prenup but not enforce it? So keep in mind, the hearing was strictly about enforcing the prenup. Are you going to enforce it or no? So the judge could have said, I'm not going to enforce it. Judge could have said that. But if the judge is going to enforce the prenup, then enforce it, right? How do you enforce it? And Simon's attorney said this court cannot rewrite the contract. But that is what the judge did. You essentially rewrote it, because the prenup that Porsha signed said she cannot film in that house. That's what it said. Porsha should not be able to film in that house until she refinances it in her name. Keep in mind, that's the same contract that she signed. It's the same one that he signed when he said in order for her to film, she had to have his permission. So for those of y'all that's probably like, okay, why is she not filming in the house? So although she has this order now to film, and she's had it since I think December, the network won't do it because they don't want Simon to come after them. So I don't know, y'all, what the appeal is going to be like. Do y'all think Simon's going to appeal it? For some reason, I don't think he is. I think he's probably over this entire thing. And also, y'all know that he also has a federal case, right? That he's suing her. So maybe he's just going to keep up with that one. Right. Exactly, Thelma. Exactly. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. When I was sitting in that court and he kept shutting everybody off, like, I don't want to hear this. In the back of my mind, I said, I think he's going to enforce the prenup, because he was just telling them, I don't want to, it was just, I didn't feel like he was really there to, to see the evidence. It seemed like he was there to have the proceeding just so he could appear fair, because he didn't, and again, he didn't have to, he could have enforced the prenup, but he enforced the prenup and then said, but she can still film in the house when it says in the prenup that she couldn't. So that was a little bit weird. So I don't know. Will Simon appeal this? We have to see. We have to see. His attorney appeared very knowledgeable about the law. I see an appeal if the judge error. And I'm gonna be like really, really honest with you all. Just from my experience, and I don't know if attorney Simone is here. From my experience with attorneys, I always felt like they get a lot of things done by who they know. I could be wrong, but Porsha's attorney seemed like he charged a lot. But from what I saw, to me, he really wasn't good. He was just talking and objecting to everything. But I feel like he maybe had better connections. He did not seem to be the best attorney. Like, he really didn't. I just feel like, I don't know. The hearing was crazy. Oh, Thelma said, and see, Thelma, I don't even remember what I was saying. Ain't that crazy? Yes, you kept telling us when you came out on break that the judge didn't look right. You kind of felt like he was going to go in Portia's. Yeah, the judge was at 10:30. The judge was over the hearing in the beginning, and I was like, why he seemed so irritated? Like, he just didn't seem open. Like, and then he said this toward the end. If y'all remember, Simon ended up dropping off, but then prior to Simon dropping off, the computer starts shutting down. So we don't know if Simon really dropped off because of, the computer was updated. Keep in mind, he's not even in the United States. He's on, the Zoom from Nigeria. So the judge says, oh, I wouldn't be surprised if he, just hung up. It wouldn't be the first time. So I was like, the judge is just saying stuff. I was just like, that's kind of, odd for him to just think that he hung up. The judge was, I didn't feel as though he was, fair at all. And in all honesty, I don't know if I told y'all this. I had hell even getting down there. I sent this thing weeks, like a month ago, until I told them, I said, okay, I told them, I said, listen, y'all have not sent me my Rule 22 back. I said it is a legal request. I said, I feel like you all are intentionally not, fulfilling my request. I said, just so y'all know, you cannot not fulfill my request. Like they can say, you can't film, but to just ignore your request, you cannot do that. So I told them, okay, so this is what I'm gonna do. I said, I'm just gonna sue y'all. Okay, you wanna ignore my request? I'm just gonna sue you. When I tell y'all that was the last thing I said, they sent me that damn paperback 3 times saying it was approved. I kind of feel like, was the judge prolonging this because maybe Porsha's attorney did not want me to film? Because keep in mind, when the judge sent the request over and I got to court, it was Porsha's attorney that was the only one objecting. But I thought that was kind of crazy that I had to keep emailing them. I had to keep calling them. They kept telling me, oh, it's going to be, just pretty much giving me the runaround, until I finally told them the day before the hearing, okay, I'm just going to sue y'all. It's okay. I said, I have all of my documentation. I said, I followed the website. I sent them a print of the website. I said, you don't have a right to just not honor my request. I said, you literally have to even send it to me and say it was rejected. You just can't ignore it. So I don't know what y'all think. Well, so that part was not recorded because during the time that Porsha's attorney objected, obviously they have it on the transcript, but they asked me to stop the recording. So I stopped it because he thought that, he was going to be able to, have me stop recording. But Simon's attorney was like, no, we want it recorded. We want everything out. She said Simon doesn't have anything to hide. And then Simon's attorney kind of felt like Porsha was using her influence against Simon. So she was like, no, we don't object to, this information being simulated. We feel like, Simon's attorney, I mean, she was kind of protecting me at that point. She was like, look, this is an open hearing. You can't deny people the right to, to film or record. We want it to be open. And then the only thing Porsha's attorney could say, well, I'm on Real Housewives of Atlanta and I can't have my income to be recorded, she said, because if my income is recorded, it can get back to other castmates. So the judge said, okay, well, I can understand that. He said, so when Porsha gives her income, then I can turn it off. So what the judge also told Porsha's attorney, the judge said, listen, when we get to the point where Porsha is going to start discussing her income, it's going to be on you to tell me to stop recording. So that's kind of how we did that. So again, Simon did not object, to anything. He was open, like, look, I don't care. It was Porsha. She didn't want to be filmed. Porsha didn't really want anybody to know anything about her, which is crazy that she on a reality show, and now she on YouTube. And I'm just like, damn, I mean, give us something on, the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So we want to watch your YouTube, but I don't know. But we ought to see what's going to go on. What y'all saying in the chat? Yeah, it's on record. What else y'all saying? But like I said, I don't know if he's going to appeal it. I have no idea. So did anybody hear, if he's going to give an interview with Tasha K? Did y'all hear anything like that? Right. Thelma, girl, you was watching everything, girl. Yes. So yes. So they were making an issue with Simon not providing his income. And yes, Simon's attorney was like, listen, and that question came up because keep in mind, Simon was saying he couldn't afford it. He's like, look, I've been at ICE for, XYZ amount of days. I don't have the resources that I once have. I don't have that, those customers, yada, yada. But what they were saying was, if that's true, why didn't you update your information? Or frankly, where is proof, Simon, that you don't have this amount of income? And what, Simon's attorney was like, well, wait a minute. We've been asking for Porsha's information and she hasn't provided. But let me explain to y'all why Porsha has not provided her income because the judge ruled that she did not have to, just so y'all know. So Porsha did not provide her income because the judge ruled in a previous hearing that she didn't have to. And again, his ruling was based on the prenup. If y'all can kind of understand how this is going, like it seems like, he rules in, in agreements with the prenup, but yet he still allowed her to film in the house when it clearly says in the prenup that you cannot film in the house. Thank you so much for your super chat, Mahogany Blue. So, yeah, Thelma, girl, you was remembering everything. You know what? You said, I feel bad for Simon. He was looking for real love, but she knows she didn't want him. She said she was biased. Yeah, I'm just like, I'm just shaking my head because it's like, I know, Simon has said he had many restaurants. I'm just not understanding how he didn't know anything about Porsha. So I don't know. I just don't know. Okay. That's funny you said that, True Hebrew. You said Simon told Tasha K that he is not going to pay Porsha anything. So listen, I was feeling that. I was feeling that he wasn't going to pay. I mean, because think about it. I wouldn't pay either. Like, who? Bitch, I wish I would. So he's supposed to pay. Girl, here's the deal, too. Simon was actually paying Porsha $30,000 when they were dating. And listen, I really understand when y'all say, Simon wanted real love. I'm just trying to understand. I don't know. Maybe this is what the rich folks do, I guess, because, if you got so from my point of view and how I look at this, you only get paid from dudes that you really don't like. So I don't understand, I get it. He like, this is my girlfriend. I want to help her out. I want to do this. But when you say you had to pay her, I'm losing it because I'm like, I don't think she really liked you. So I'm like, okay, maybe this is something that the rich folks do. I don't know, y'all. What y'all think? What y'all saying? He doesn't pay Porsha. Will. Oh no, Mahogany. So, okay. So Mahogany. Okay. So keep in mind, Simon agreed in the prenup that he is going to pay Porsha this amount of money every month. So let me see if I got it. Let me add this up, y'all. Okay. If we were to get the calculator, okay. Porsha filed for her divorce, I believe, in January of 2024. So what are we in? We're in June. So he had 3 years after the divorce to continue to pay the mortgage payment, whatever the mortgage payment is. So let's say the mortgage payment is $50,000, right? Let's just say the mortgage pay. I don't know. Let's just say, so Simon said the mortgage and all the upkeep is about $50,000, right? So $50,000, let's just say he got 24 months left on this prenup. That's $1.2 million just paying the mortgage and the upkeep. One of the other things Porsha said in court, he's also supposed to upkeep the property. Like, let's say if something break in the house. This is why I know Porsha really don't got it like that, because she said the elevator broke. So I'm like, girl, you complaining about the elevator, girl, fix it. So Porsha complained that the elevator had gotten broke and she had to fix it. So if we just look at the mortgage payment for the next 24 months, based on what Simon said in the upkeep, that's $1.2 million. So just keep that in your mind. $1.2 million. Wasn't the amount that he's supposed to pay her? Isn't it like $40,000, right? So he's supposed to pay her $40,000 for as many months as they were married. So what is that, like 15 months, right? 15 months. Okay, so $40,000 times 15. That's $600,000. Okay, so he's supposed to pay her $600,000 plus $1.2 million. Wait a minute, $1.2 million. That's almost $2 million right there. So that's $1.8 million. So if we just look at the upkeep of the property, And the mortgage payment and the $40,000 that he's supposed to pay her every month, that's $1.8 million that he's supposed to give her. So Simon, what's going to happen if he does not pay, Porsha is going to, if she can, refinance the house. She won't need to give him any equity, because keep in mind, if he does not pay what the court ordered him to pay, he can't get the equity, because that would mean that he now owes her. So what they'll do, oh, and I'm missing something, y'all. In the court order, well, the court order is not available right now, but Simon also has to pay Porsha's attorney fees. So if we look at her attorney fees, I think they said $230 some $230,000. If we at 1.8 million now, and then I just add plus 200, I think they said 236,000. That's 2,036,000. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? So right now he owes her about 2 million. Yeah. So about a little over $2 million. So when y'all say, will he access the equity only if he pays her? So simply what I'm hearing is that Simon is like, I'm not paying anything. So that would mean that no, he would not have access to, the equity in the property, because essentially she'll be able to keep it, because what, she'll be able to say is, he never paid me the amounts that I was, due. And thank you, Rosiah Morrison, for the super chat. So essentially, no. And I mean, I don't think that he cares at this point. I don't think that he cares, because I mean, would you, he owes a little over $2 million. So y'all got to understand too, when Simon bought this property, he put down $2.4 million. So he has already invested $2.4 million. As he stated in court, he said he's paid the mortgage up until he went into ICE custody. So he's been paying the mortgage. I mean, he ain't paid it since, March, because he would have paid February. So he hasn't paid March, April, May, and June, the last 4 months. I have to agree, KK. I have to agree. I don't think she ever loved him either, but I'm not going to understand why he thought that she did. I'm kind of stuck on that. I mean, I don't get it. If he had agreed to pay stuff and provided receipts of income, she might. Yes, this is a good one. If he had agreed to pay stuff and provided receipts of income, she might not be able to film in the house. Isn't the house supposed to be in a trust? So with regards, let's talk about it. So with regards to the home being in the trust, what I learned in court, keep in mind, I ain't know none of this prior to court, what the prenup said, that in the event that they decided to go forward with a, divorce, the house is allegedly in Simon's name. What it states is that he is supposed to transfer the property into a trust. Now, the trust, they both are supposed to be joint owners. By them, being joint owners of the trust, that gives her the ability to be able to refinance the house. So what they stated in court is that he never did that. So what that does is, obviously she can't refinance the house because she doesn't own it. You can't refinance something that you don't own. So what Porsha would like to do is refinance. If y'all kind of understand, finance it usually should be easier to refinance than to purchase. Sometimes it's a little bit better because now you get to take advantage of the equity. But what they said was she can't do that because he never put it in a trust. Is he going to put it in a trust? Who knows? But what I did learn at court is if he does not put it in a trust, that the judge is going to do it. However, this judge is saying that he's not going to just jump up and put it in a trust. He said, look, I'm going to give him 30 days. So what y'all think? Y'all think he going to put it in a trust, or is he going to make the judge just go ahead and render a judicial deed? Because the judge can, get a judicial deed, which means Porsha would be the owner. Oh, and also speaking of Porsha's mother, another thing I learned in court. I believe that Porsha's mom is actually going to move into the property. And let me just tell y'all why. When asked in court about, her mortgage, Porsha stated that she really didn't have information on it, but she was also asked about her other property in Duluth, which she owns. She stated that in order to move forward with the new mortgage, although she said she didn't know nothing about it, that she needed to sell that house. So she has a lot of work to do. Y'all, let's listen to some of it.
Atlanta television show before you met Miss Williams?
That's correct.
How many times did you appear on it before you even met her?
Wait, let's listen to
sitting out in the courtroom right now because I knew this case is a little bit high profile, and so if the public or anybody else wanted to show up, I'm not handing Zoom links out. They can come into my courtroom and observe it.
Thank you.
Okay, so Ms. Hayward James, I'll go ahead and swear in Ms. Williams then. Ms. Williams, if you raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in the testimony you are about to give?
Yes, I do.
All right, if you could state your name and spell it for the record.
Porsha Williams, Porshaguobadia.
Okay, Ms. Hayward James, it's go ahead with your direct.
All right, Ms. Williams, where do you currently live? When did you guys live in your house?
We lived in my house a couple months after we started dating.
Now, y'all listen. Porsha stated that her and Simon moved in her property a couple months after they started dating. Now, y'all know what I was thinking in court. I want to know, when did they really meet? Because in Simon's testimony, Simon testified that he had known Porsha for 10 years. And I was looking like, and then he said he had known of her for 10 years. So he had stated that he didn't really know her, but he knew who she was. He stated that, he had owned various restaurants, and that, her being on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, that she had filmed in places, obviously, that he owned. And when I tell y'all, I was sitting there wondering, because there had been so much information that was saying that Porsha, had been messing around with this African. And I don't think Simon was the only African, because I've also heard that she had messed with like a cousin or something of his. But I just wonder, how long did she really know Simon for? Because let me see if he even speaks to it in his testimony. Let's see.
I've known of Ms. Williams probably up to probably 10 years.
Okay. He said he had known her for up to 10 years. And did y'all hear that? So when he said that, I was just like, 10 years. But then he said this.
As a business owner, owning restaurants, and the show has filmed in a couple of my restaurants over the time period. But we never met each other personally.
So do y'all see that? Because he originally said that he had known her. The question was, how long had you known her? Then he had said, I had known Miss Williams for 10 years. But then he said, okay, I didn't know her personally, but she had filmed in, restaurants that he had, he was the owner of. And when I tell y'all, I was sitting there like, nah, these jokers knew each other for longer. Because in Porsha's testimony, y'all think about this. Does this make any sense? You meet somebody, you just, you meeting them, you hanging out. How the hell do you let them move in your house after a month with their kids? I was like, no, I think they knew each other for longer, because this doesn't make sense. Like, how is it that he moved in her house right away? So I just thought that it was something. Somebody said it was a scheme that Todd set up to come with us with the bug, because something don't add up, y'all. He said it, and then she said that they had been knowing each other. Well, I'm sorry. Porsha didn't say that. Simon said that they had been knowing each other for 10 years, but then he changed it to say, no, we didn't really know each other. I knew of her. And I was like, that's kind of odd. Yeah, I think that Porsha had knew him already.
When you say the show, you mean The Real Housewives of Atlanta? That's correct. And you actually appeared on The Real Housewives of Atlanta television show before you met Miss Williams? That's correct. How many times did you appear on it before you even met her? Probably about twice. On one, probably I appeared on 2 episodes in 1 season, where my previous wife was considered a friend of the show. Okay. And then, when did Miss Williams stop being on the show? I believe after season 13. Was it after you married or before you married? I'm sorry, repeat the question. Was she still on the show when you married her, or had she quit the show? She had quit the show. Okay, and after you married her, did you and she do a TV show together? Yes, we did. And that was not The Real Housewives of Atlanta. That was a show you and she were on together, correct? That's correct. And it was her show. And did she earn money from that show? Yes, she did. And you supported her doing that, correct? Sure I did. I sure did. And it was after that show ended that she rejoined The Real Housewives of Atlanta, correct? Please repeat the question. She rejoined The Real Housewives of Atlanta after that show had been filmed and aired, correct?
I'm gonna object.
That is so funny. I don't say nothing. I be wanting to see what y'all think. That is so funny. Nola, darling girl, you said it. I was saying the same thing, girl. I just wasn't saying. I'm like, I don't know. I feel like him and Porsha was messing around the entire time. Something wasn't adding up. And I think Simon was trying to be as careful as he can. But in my mind, I'm like, okay, Simon, this seemed a little suspect here, with you saying you had known her for 10 years, but then you said, well, I knew who she was. I'm like, Simon.
To the lack of specific, I'm gonna object to ambiguity and vagueness as far as time and scope of the question in order for the witness to be able to properly answer as far as after the show.
Now you see how Simon's attorney jumped in and didn't want him to really answer if he wasn't asking him for a specific time frame. Do y'all see what I'm saying? I just feel like this is what I feel. I feel like Simon was definitely messing with Porsha when he was with Fallon or whoever he was with before. Because think about it. She got with him. They got engaged. Like, listen, is it just me? When I meet people, I'm not even getting in your car. I can meet you. I'm not going over your house. How do you feel that comfortable with somebody living in your house? Like, that's weird. Not only feeling comfortable, girl, you have a daughter. Not only a daughter, a baby who don't even talk. Like, how do you do that? I feel like that something was going on the whole time. And I also feel like, too, that's why Porsha feel justified in what she did to him, because she probably feel like, he was, cheating the whole time anyway.
So we need times and dates, or not dates, excuse me, not time, but dates, so the witness can follow the question.
Oh, wait a minute. Y'all gonna make me look some stuff up. Cherry Reed, that judge was his prior divorce. That judge was his prior divorce? What you mean? What do you mean that judge was his prior divorce? Dates and thought I don't got time. We enforcing the prenup. This, the other woman. Cherry, are you saying that that judge was his prior divorce attorney with Fallon? I know you just didn't say that. I know, Cherry, you just didn't say that. Because if you did, that would answer a lot of questions. That will answer a lot of questions. So you're saying that that was his prior? You gonna make me have to look this up. Oh no, I gotta go look. I gotta go look. I gotta go look. Yeah, I gotta look. I hope it don't mess with the stream. Let me look. I gotta look this up. I don't know. That is a good question because what I do know is the judge didn't give a damn. I don't care what nobody say. The judge was over the entire case. So I gotta go look. Let me go look. Because if this is the judge that did his divorce, he should have asked for a different judge because that will make a whole lot of sense. Okay, y'all, I gotta look. I'm logging in. Let me look. I'm in here. Y'all got me looking. If that was the prior judge, y'all, I'm gonna scream. Let's see. All right, y'all. How do Simon spell his name? Isn't it G-O? How do you spell it? Oh, wait a minute. G-U. Okay, 𝐸𝐫𝐫𝐷ia. Oops. 𝐸𝐸𝐫𝐷ia Simon. Okay, y'all got me looking. If that was the judge, I'm done because there's no way that they should have moved forward. Okay, so I'm in. Let me look, y'all. So give me a moment. I'm going to look this up because I think what y'all putting in the chat that was the prior judge, and I'm just hoping that it wasn't. But listen, though. Okay, wait a minute. I just realized something. We're not going to be able to find this on there. You know why? Because I just realized this. We're not going to be able to find it because the only reason, y'all, that they in court now is because Simon didn't want to enforce the prenup. You do know that with Fallon, they went with the prenup, right? So I'm going to look, but I don't think it's going to be online simply because it wasn't that sort of a divorce. It was, what is that, non-contested? The difference with this divorce is it is actually contested, but I'm going to still look. But I don't think it's going to be on here. I really don't. Because that divorce wasn't contested. But let's see. So when would y'all think that he divorced Fallon? Was it in 2020? What would the date be? Let's see. I'm looking here, but I don't think it's going to be on here because I don't think Fallon contested it. I think they just moved forward. And Porsha lying, talking about she didn't know about none of his divorces when all you have to do is go online and look them up. Girl, you didn't care. So I'm looking, y'all. Just give me a moment here. Because I'm looking his name up and you can see the divorces, but I'm just looking for the one for Fallon. Because like I said, it may not be on here. Okay. It is contested. Y'all about to look. Ooh. Y'all, this is the same court. Okay, y'all, I gotta. Oh no, it is the same court. Y'all, let me look again because I just can't believe this. Let me just go back. Y'all, I think this is the same court. Y'all, this is not good. Let me just look again. It says 4, family 4. That is that same courtroom. Let me see. I need to literally see the judge's name because y'all, let me look. Let me look. Let me just see. I just want to see something. I need to see the judge's name. Let's just see. I need to see the judge's name. I do believe it's the same court, but I just need to see the judge's name for my Sanity, y'all. I'm looking, but it is the same court, but it doesn't mean that it's the same judge. I really need to find something with this judge's name on it. Let's just see. All right, so filed. Y'all, I'm looking, but I really think that that was the same judge. I'm still looking to see if I can find the documents with the judge's name on it. It just gives the courtroom, but I don't really know how they do it here in Georgia, but I know in other states, the judges actually switch. So I'm really trying to look to see what I'm trying to find something with the judge's name on it, and I'm not finding that. It is the same room, though, now that I'm looking, but that don't necessarily mean says contested, dismissed with outstanding order. Let's see. This is crazy. Petition, let's see. Yeah, I'm looking. I am looking. Why come I can't find anything with the judge's name on it? This is odd. Let's see. Who said that in the chat? Somebody said that that was the same judge because it is in the same room, y'all. But let me, I'm finna play this while I look. Just give me a second.
If you can answer it, when did he, after that show, she started back on the Real Housewives, correct?
So Ms. Ferry had an objection. Mr. Kessler rephrased. Ms. Ferry, what's your objection now to the question?
I guess it's the same as far as the question. It's not narrow as to.
I'm going to overrule the objection after the show is specific enough. So.
I guess he needs to lay the foundation if he knows when the show ended. I think that's what I'm getting at, Judge. So I can even follow the testimony, and the witness knows how to answer.
Your Honor, I'm just trying to establish that they got married. He did a TV show with her, and then she rejoined the Real Housewives. I think
I'm going to overrule the objection. I think it's fine.
Is that basically what happened, Mr. 𝐸𝐸, that you got married, you did this show, and then she joined the Real Housewives sometime after you filmed that show?
No, she was never on any show while we were married.
Okay, so when did she start the Real Housewives again? Was it? And you're still married now, right?
She started the housewife, correct, after she filed for a divorce for dissolution.
They started filming after she filed for divorce, but you knew
That's correct.
But before she filed for divorce, you knew she had signed up for the Real Housewives, correct?
She was talking to them. She's been talking to them over the course of the marriage. When she signed for it, I don't know when she signed for it.
Okay, and you were probably going to be on it as well, right? She talked to you about that.
We never discussed it.
But it didn't come out of the blue. You knew that it was something that she'd been considering.
I disagree with that analogy. She never expressed that she wanted to go back on the show. She was spoken to about the show.
Okay, y'all, whoever said that in the chat, I don't know where y'all got that information from. I just looked it up. So I went back to my email because remember when I told y'all that I kept having to, send them emails. So when I went and looked at Fallon's, okay, let me show y'all something. I'm going to show y'all something. Okay, let me show y'all something because it was the same judge, and that's crazy. I'm going to show y'all something. Give me a second. Let me share this with y'all. Okay, let me show y'all something. So remember, I kept telling y'all that I kept reaching out to the judge because I was trying to get my Rule 22 or whatever. I was trying to get that situated, and I told y'all they kept giving me the runaround. Okay, now I had to reach out to his staff. Okay, and let me show y'all something, because this is how I was able to find it. So Simon's previous judge with Fallon was this judge. Let me show y'all. This makes a whole lot of sense. Look at this. Do y'all see that name? Kathleen Robinson. Do y'all see that name? Because I'm trying to figure out, like, dang, who is Kathleen? Because I remember emailing somebody like that. Okay. So keep that in y'all mind. So they kept on telling me, fill this out or whatever. So let me show y'all my screen. That is definitely the same judge. That makes a whole lot of sense. Look at this. Kathy Robinson. That's her name. It's Kathy, but her real name must be Kathleen. So that is so crazy. This makes so much sense. So the judge was really acting like this because it seemed, well, no, that judge was the same judge that handled his prior divorce. Oh my goodness. Let me find a person in the chat that said that. So yes, and the reason, let me just tell y'all how I was able to figure it out, because of his staff. On the official court document, it says it's like Kathleen or something, but in the email that I received, it said Kathy Robinson is the same person. So I got to find a person in the chat who said that. Hopefully you're still here, because I don't know where you got that information from. But like I said, I didn't even look it up. But this is so crazy, y'all. So now we know why the judge. Cherry Red, are you still here or did you leave? Are you still here, Cherry? So this is what Cherry Red put in the chat. That judge was his prior divorce. I think she was saying was the prior divorce judge, and thought, I don't got time. We enforcing a prenup. Y'all, okay. This makes total sense. This makes total sense. So this was the exact judge that handled his divorce. And the judge is probably like, wait a minute. And you married again? Oh, Cherry girl, you still here. So, oh my gosh, y'all. So guess what? I'm not even mad at the judge no more, because the judge was figuring this out. So the judge is like, I'm over this. But I kind of feel like now, thanks to Cherry, that you put that in the chat and I went and looked it up. That was, in fact, the same judge. Y'all, why? I guess I don't understand. Why didn't they ask for a different judge? Because you cannot ask somebody to not be biased when they have information based on a prior experience with you. Don't y'all think that is crazy? Why didn't he ask for a different judge? Right. They have to be independent. But I feel like, as a person, that's just like, if you know information on somebody, how can you sit there and act like you don't know it? So I feel like the judge should have never presided over this case based on the prior information that he had. Because think about it. If Simon was there prior with another young lady, which was Fallon, they got a divorce, and now very quickly after, he married somebody else. Can you understand how the judge would definitely be biased? Because think about it. Think about it. As a person, if you know information about a person, you are going to be biased, because you're going to see them in a different light. So based on the judge being the one over his previous divorce, why didn't he ask for a different judge? That's crazy. That is so crazy. I would have never, ever thought about that. It makes so much sense. But again, if it was me and I was previously married, I would not want the same judge, because I'm not understanding, like, they're not supposed to be biased, but we know people are, and especially judges. I mean, if you just think about it, a judge, if you continue to see the same person coming into your courtroom and they keep breaking the law, each time you see them, they are not a new person. They're the same MF that was just here last week. So I feel like that kind of answers a lot of questions. What you say, Thelma? No, still feel the same way about him because plenty of people have the same judge being married more than once, but don't let that be a conflict. He is not supposed to be biased. Yes, but I feel like maybe that was the reason that he was not saying, oh, what in the world is thing on? What the? I'm going to be done with StreamYard. No, not giving him a reason to be biased. I feel like people, especially a judge, you shouldn't be, but he was. And now I'm understanding, okay, now it makes sense. Not definitely saying that, this is a reason that the judge should be biased, but just by me knowing this and just sitting in court wondering like, really? I kind of understand now because clearly he couldn't separate himself because, he clearly was biased. He might not get a new judge because he lives in another country. Well, I don't think that matters. I don't even know if he's open to even fight this anymore. You know what? That's a good question. Did the lawyer not know? I have no idea. And in all honesty, I didn't know either. And somebody put it in the chat and I said, I'm just going to go look because in all honesty, I'm like, nah, he didn't have the same judge. But it seems like he actually did. He actually did because those are the same individuals. So let me kind of make sure y'all following what I'm saying. So when I went to the court, it says family 4. So for some reason, they don't give you the courtroom. It just says family 4, but it gave you the judge's name. So I'm like, where's family 4? So that was another issue. I'm running all over the building because they like family 4 on 3, family 4 on 5. So when I looked at his previous documents, it says family 4. And that's why I said, okay, let me find out who the judge would be for family 4, because maybe it was a different judge. But when I looked up the staff, because the judge has their own staff, those are the same staff that I was emailing to get my Rule 22 form filled out. So he definitely had the same judge, which is so crazy. And I don't understand how I don't know. That's crazy. Hell yeah. The lawyers know. They look at all the previous cases. Yeah, I don't know, y'all. That is crazy. Maybe Simon thought that he was going to get the same outcome. Well, the difference, Fallon did not, well, I shouldn't say that. Simon, he didn't ask for the prenup to not be enforced. So it was different. So the situation with him and Fallon is, he sold a property. So just so y'all know, because I know some people were putting in the chat that Fallon didn't get anything. Yes, she did. So, and I learned this in court. Obviously, he wasn't talking about his ex-wife, but what he said was when he purchased the marital property that, now Porsha is living in, he said he sold 2 properties. And when he sold his 2 prior properties, he was able to take, some of the money and put down. But, Fallon, from what I was told, she did get a portion of that. And also he paid her, her rent up for XYZ amount of days. And I know some people were saying, she had to move, out within 30 days. I think that's what she agreed to. She agreed for, that in a prenup. And I know that was, people were like, well, Porsha get this, Porsha get that. People negotiated their own terms, but she definitely got something. You got to understand, if we look at 2 of the same, they're not, the prenups were not the same. Porsha continued to negotiate. She was like, look, obviously Porsha didn't want to move out in 30 days because she said in court, look, I had already went through that. I did not want, to be with my daughter and not have anywhere to stay. Porsha attorney played her because Simon didn't even present finance. Nope, he didn't. Porsha attorney played her because Simon didn't even present financials. I would have made my attorney enforce that because courts look strictly at both parties' assets and only fidelity if the state recognizes. And like I said, nobody presented anything. And I feel like maybe it was because they already had the prenup, but I was like, why are we even here? Because nobody is presenting proof of anything. This person is saying I make this, and that person is saying I make that. So I was just like, what are we saying now? Simon gave Fallon a portion of the sale of the home, paid her rent for 1 year and money from their other two properties. That is what Fallon said. Yes, she definitely, she received something. And then we have to understand is people negotiate their own terms. Porsha, I feel like too, Porsha was traumatized in her last marital situation. She was traumatized. She felt like she didn't get anything. And I feel like, and she said it, she felt like in this particular situation, she felt like she didn't want to end up not getting anything. But let me just tell y'all how I feel. When I'm ready to go, I don't want shit. I got to get out of there. So I'm just gonna be up, So hats off to Porsha. Listen, if I was with you for 15 months, I don't want SHIT from you, but I want to get away from you. So Porsha felt like, look, I need to get something. You said that judge, are you talking about Judge Eaton? That judge came to Fulton County in 2021. Oh, so you're saying that it wasn't Judge Eaton? Fallon couldn't get a place after she divorced because she didn't have credit. I think Simon helped her get a place. Somebody, Alicia Gibb, I'm trying to understand your comment. You said that judge came to Fulton County in 2021. Are you saying Judge Eaton? You said, yes, it depends on the date. Do y'all recall when him and Fallon got a divorce? Yeah, they got divorced in 2021, Alicia. It was in 2021 when they got divorced. I just looked at the document. Let me see if I can share my screen. Where is it? So I don't know if you were here when I first showed this, but if we go into, Simon's old divorce with Fallon, it was in 2021. So yeah, it was in 2021. So, I mean, from what I'm gathering, unless y'all got, some information I don't, it seems that was the same judge with regards to when, him and Fallon had gotten a divorce. But it depends on the day. Okay, gotcha. Somebody says Simon was traumatized with that prenup and he's coming up marrying a celebrity. I don't even know what to say about the prenup. Like I said, I really, assume that there were other things, but, being in the court, he definitely agreed to it. But this is what he said though. And again, this is the part that the judge wasn't really trying to hear. He said he agreed to pay her that amount because she wasn't working. So he said, of course, I want to help my wife. So do you feel like, him, agreeing to help somebody out that he was married to, that he, love or whatever, once loved? So what Simon's argument was pretty much that he wouldn't have done it if he would have thought that she was going to start back working. And that's pretty much what he said. And in all honesty, Porsha kind of confirmed that because she said, when they got married, her job really was to do things, take opportunities that would keep her in the house. Yep. Somebody said, what are you saying, Cherry? Cherry said, I learned unless your state enforces it, I would present any of my financials in court. The courts can't enforce anything they can't prove. So it must be legal in Georgia because, oh, you said Ralph doing the same thing. Really? Girl, what? have never heard of anything like that. How are you presenting your financials in court with no proof? Like, how do you do that? That's crazy. I've never heard of that. Maybe that's some shit they do in Georgia, because I have never heard of that. You need to provide some proof. I mean, you would think with a divorce, they gonna want some years of, your bank statements or something. I don't know what the hell they doing. Right. Okay. Thelma said, I feel like he loved her and he said he wanted to help her and her mom. Yes, he did say that. He stated, I think he was very genuine, but what men have to understand, I mean, it's some women out here that, they're going to take you for everything you got. So what Simon did say, I'm gonna let y'all hear it. I'm gonna let y'all hear, but let me kind of break it down. What Simon said is that Porsha had a very difficult season, which he was telling the truth, because if y'all remember, when Porsha left Real Housewives of Atlanta, it was during that situation with Bolo. Now, I know y'all remember that because she allegedly, had done some things with Bolo. So Simon said Porsha had a very difficult season and she really wanted to leave the housewives. He also stated that, her mom had retired. And pretty much what you said, Thelma, is that pretty much he wanted to help. Let me see if he gonna say it in here.
Over the course of our being together, before we got married and after we got married, the details of it I was never privy to.
Okay, but your lawyer made it in an opening and in previous hearings that you signed this prenuptial agreement because she was going to stop working and be dependent on you.
That's correct.
But that wasn't the case because you all did a show together as husband and wife that earned her money, correct?
I don't know what she earned when she did her show. I literally just met her, and a week or two later, asked to be on the show, and I was just being a supportive boyfriend at the time.
Okay. Did she not do a show with you while you were married?
No.
Okay. All right. Your lawyer said, I think I've covered that. I'm going to shift, just for clarity, I'm going to shift forward to change the circumstances. Your lawyer said that your company has had a change. In November of 2024, isn't it true you terminated all employees at 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐿?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. Before you were detained by ICE, you terminated all employees at 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐿, correct?
I did not terminate them to cease business. I terminated them because they were ineffective.
Okay. So it had nothing to do with your immigration status or ICE, correct?
No. No.
And your domestic relations financial affidavit that you submitted reflected that your assets were as set forth on the schedules for the prenuptial agreement, correct?
Let's repeat the question.
I'm going to show you you remember signing a domestic relations financial affidavit?
Yes.
And you remember there was a list for assets? I'm going to show it to you and we'll tender it again. See if you can identify this, what we marked exhibit.
So y'all, what Simon was getting into, and talking about the prenuptial agreement, because he agreed to give Porsha all of these things. What he was stating was the reason that he agreed to that is simply because she wasn't working. So in his defense, and what he was trying to say in court is the prenuptial agreement essentially isn't fair because he only agreed to do these things because she wasn't working. And that was their agreement. But what he, ultimately stated was because now she's back working, he's essentially saying that she can pretty much pay her own bills if y'all can kind of follow that. Now, Cherry Red said, my next husband won't have any of my financial info but one account. I will have businesses. he don't know about. I don't care how much I know him. That is hilarious. Look, this is what I've been taught. You always tell your man or your boyfriend or whoever, they don't never need to know how much money you got, because listen, what for what? They don't need to know how much money you got. You supposed to know how much money they have, you know? That's just, hey, girl, I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out there. But yeah, we know that, that was the same, attorney. I'm not attorney, but that was the same judge. But like I said, Simon was establishing that he only helped Porsha because they agreed that she would not work. Again, the judge didn't give a damn. He wasn't trying to hear it. He obviously went ahead and enforced the prenup. Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one, y'all. It was so much. In all honesty, I have to watch these videos to kind of remember, because there was so much stuff. So let's talk about it. Bravo doesn't like that she isn't showing this on the show. And that is awesome, because I believe that is one of the reasons why Porsha started doing her YouTube channel. And her attorney spoke about it in court. Although Porsha, testified and stated that she didn't have to show anything. She said her contract pretty much said she can film up against a wall. But what her attorney said is, her not being able to show, her home and things like that is definitely and could definitely, and we know it is definitely going to jeopardize her chances of coming back to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. But I feel like she's going to come back. I honestly feel like that now. I don't know. Do y'all think when she come back or she's going to ever talk about this? I feel like with Porsha now, if I really go back and, look at her in different, episodes, it always felt like she really never gave everything. And I think that was further clarified with Shamea. Because Shamea also said in so many words that Porsha doesn't really feel comfortable really telling everything. And I kind of get that. If y'all recall, even the situation with Bolo, the girl Porsha was single. Apparently Bolo was single, and she couldn't even admit to anything that happened with Bolo. And if y'all even recall the situation with her and Simon, they were saying partially the reason that Porsha didn't come back was because she didn't want to own and hear people going at her for messing with that lady's husband. Yeah, she didn't want to talk about it, period. You said Porsha. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, but in order for Porsha, yeah, you need like a Candy on there, a Nene or something like that, because I mean, I feel like she's gonna come back. For one, the show is going to shit, so they need to try to keep whoever they can keep. But Porsha didn't give nothing, and in all honesty, I feel like everything that happened in her marriage, I think this would have been a really good time for her to really, embrace what was going on in her life. She could have like talked about her, divorce from Cordell and how, some similarities with her current marriage. Her saying she couldn't talk about Simon. This is what I learned in court. She couldn't defame Simon. She could have talked about her marriage. She could have said, I didn't know that I was going to get a divorce. She could have said a lot of stuff that she did not say. I think with everything that happened with her in her marriage, I still feel like she could have said a lot. I feel like she could have pulled in the viewers. I mean, how many women, that haven't went through a divorce? I just feel like she failed to do it. I feel like she did not give us nothing. And the little money that they said that they paying her, they need to cut that in half. Because I feel like Porsha gave brand new housewife. I feel like Kelly gave more than Porsha. I feel like she didn't give shit. I know they mad as hell. That was supposed to be her. Yeah, she didn't. And again, I feel like even with her situation, I feel like she could have gave more. I don't feel like Porsha gave nothing. I just really feel like she didn't give anything. If she was smart, she would drop her pride and just show. Let me put this on there. If she was smart, she would drop her pride and just show this, even if she's embarrassed, because Bravo can say, hold up, you told Simon that you couldn't handle the show. Thank you for your services. Here's my deal. If you are on a show and they paying you $1 million, 900,000, 800,000. I'm sorry, that's way they're not paying you that episode. Let me bring it out. Let's say they're paying you 50,000 an episode, 60, 70, whatever they paying you. Just show your damn life. Like, how bad can it be? This is what I learned. It's easier to be authentic. Trying to create shit, it's too much. Just go with what it is. All of this stuff about her not being able to talk about Simon was a lie. She couldn't defame Simon. And that was one of the things they talked about in court, because they talked about the episode with her and her mother where they called him a scammer. So those were the type of things that she couldn't say. And it's so crazy that she continually calls a man a scammer that she's still trying to get money from. Like, if he was a scammer and I'm trying to get the money from him, I ain't gonna call him a scammer, because I don't need him to get locked up before I get my change. So she could have did a lot better. She could have did a lot better. She knew she'd get by the OGs. Right. So she could have gave way more. I really believe she could have gave way more. Porsha got still find a buyer. Listen, she got to find a buyer who's wanting to buy a house. Oh, you're okay. I get what you're saying for her house, because she has to sell her house. Yeah. Porsha got to still find a buyer because of the economy being so hard to sell. Yeah, it may sit. Yes, girl. And it's a buyer's market. That's why I'm like, okay, I'm ready now. So I've been sitting idle because it's like everything you find, they want a whole bunch of money. And I'm just like, I got to get a house, but I'm just not finna just give y'all what y'all, no, absolutely not. And it's a buyer's market. So, good luck with that. Good luck with that. Somebody said Tasha K said Porsha earns 80,000 per episode. I don't know. I said I wasn't gonna talk about what she earned per episode, but you said Tasha K said it. So you don't know. She is divorced now. What you say? She is divorced now and have that house to film in next season. She is going to negotiate a lot of money to talk, and she will do it because nothing will stop her. So Thelma, I don't know if the money is there. I don't know if she gonna negotiate more than what she getting, because if you think about it, she didn't give nothing. I mean, y'all be honest. What the hell was the Real Housewives about this, this season? I think it was a flop. So I don't know. Whatever she getting now, she probably gonna keep it or maybe get less. She probably won't get more. And then if you think about it, Porsha is in a situation where she can't turn down no check. So I don't know if that's gonna work in her favor. Porsha knew she was going to win. Porsha knew she was going to win as a reason they went looking at $4 million home. Maybe she'll sell. Oh, well, a $4 million home maybe is better for her. Thank you. I appreciate you, LGG. Yeah, I think a $4 million house is probably more in her bargain. I mean, because 7 million, baby, just get something. And in all honesty, Porsha has one daughter. She could find her a lovely, especially with, like y'all said, the economy. Girl, you can find you a lovely $2 million house. People need to stop living beyond their means. Porsha gonna be working like a Hebrew slave trying to pay a mortgage and, somewhere far away from her daughter. Girl, just get something that you can afford and pay and live your life. Why do you want a 10-bedroom house? Like, why? Some people just don't know what to do when they get a few dollars. And listen, I'm glad you said that, because I've been hearing that Porsha got bad credit, honey. Now, let me just tell y'all this. if y'all ever had bad credit, because baby, I had bad credit before, and that's why I would never have bad credit again. But baby, if she got bad credit, I don't know what she gonna do. I heard that, Alicia girl. Yes, I heard they've been just, using my stuff, and then they say somebody going around here lying to me, I be stealing folks' content. I just refuse to have YouTube beef. These folks is crazy. They crazy. It must be something going on with the one her mother is in. Well, Brenda, so what I learned from court, this is what Porsha said, which would make sense. She said in order to get a mortgage that she needs to sell that property, which, she gonna have to offer a deal because, Porsha's house, the Duluth property, needs to probably be updated, child. So we will see. We will see. She should just stick to her house and stack money. My thing is, I don't know why people want to work like slaves. I mean, do you really need a house that big? Get you something for you and your daughter. Like, I don't know. I think Porsha is in competition with maybe Shamia. I mean, girl, why? Just find you something nice, live in it, and just live your life. Okay, Thelma, I love it. Okay, so let me kind of explain. And I'm learning, I am not going to say that I've been, on YouTube forever. So, they can use your content. In fact, we all can use each other's content. But let's say, I'm just going to say DJ Richie Sky or whatever. Let's say he's doing a video, okay? And I see what he's doing and I say, "Ooh, I want to talk about that on my channel." So I can use his video as long as I say, this is his video. I have to say that it is his video. I cannot take someone's video and use it without giving them credit or saying this is this person's video. If you do that, that person can get your video taken down. So that's why I don't understand, people took the video and used it, but you saw me on there because I was here, and then you saw this right here. So what they did was they cut me out right here, used this, took all of my logos off, and then pretended that they didn't know that it was me. That's fine. I just struck all of their videos, and yeah, that's what I did, because I don't mind you using it, but just at least say, where you got it from. Now, I saw one, maybe two people. I think the second person, which was Bravo Shade Room, they originally just put the video up, and I copyrighted it and they had to take it down, which, and they didn't necessarily have to take it down. They could have just said where the video came from. But what you're seeing now is they're playing audio, which, I mean, whatever. And then I heard, they told me that it was a miserable person, because you always find these miserable people on the internet that always be mad. Y'all know how I feel about the mad girls, the bitter Bettys. And, now she's creating a lie talking about I be stealing people content. So usually if I get content, I'll get it from a blog. And I'm learning too, sometimes blogs will take stuff and use it, and you really don't know where it's coming from. So I do believe that, some people would have gotten a video and not know where it was, coming from, which is okay. But it's okay. That baby wasn't alive. Now, I don't know. You know what? So this is the deal. Somebody told me about that. I didn't really talk about that. You said, remember, she had a few $1 million judgment against when that baby was unalived at her daycare. Somebody else was talking about that. I didn't look into it. I really didn't. I did not look into it. But I heard a lot of people talking about it. Oh, listen, Alicia said, now that's a good one. On YouTube, she drove the Rolls Royce car. How can she, you, Alicia girl, you were paying attention. So listen, y'all. when they said in court that the Rolls Royce tags was expired, I chuckled because, you know, it just made me understand how people will do anything for clout to make themselves look like they have money. So Porsha is driving around a Rolls Royce with expired tags. Where they do that at? Okay, because you know what I learned in court? She said that the tags had been expired. She had no way to renew it. And let me tell y'all what I learned. Georgia is different. So when you renew your tag in Georgia, they send you obviously a renewal notice, and you can take it. You go in the grocery store and you can scan it and you can get your tag there. But here's the deal. If you do not have that notice that they send you, the only way you can renew your tag is with your license. And let me just tell y'all why. Because when a car is registered to you and they scan your license, it'll bring the car up. So when Porsha said that she couldn't renew the car, first thing I'm thinking like, girl, why you just won't do it? Because she can't. Because the car is registered to Simon. Simon has his own driver's license. So in order for Porsha to renew it, Simon would have to scan his license. And I'm just like, Porsha driving around with a car with expired tags. Now, if y'all go back to some earlier episodes, well, I should say earlier, later episodes, you see Porsha driving a white, I think it's a Mercedes-Benz. That is why she's not driving the Rolls Royce, y'all, because of the plates. And I was just like, girl, really? He said she good friends with Quad. Yes, when I learned that in court. So let me make sure y'all understand this too. With that Rolls Royce, that is part of the deal with the prenup. So essentially, remember, if y'all remember, he had given her a Rolls Royce. Baby, the car is leased. The car is not even paid for, which is, it's okay that it's leased, but people be all on social media like, oh, I just got a new car. It's okay that it's leased. But the fact of the matter is, they said in court that it is a leased vehicle, and they didn't even know if the payments had been paid, and that she couldn't drive it because the plates wasn't renewed. They also said that Simon has to pay, because y'all know if you lease a car that you can lease it, but you can also buy it too. So they said part of the agreement too is that he has to pay off the vehicle and give her the title. Girl, the girl wants cash. Right. That exactly. So she can't even drive it. So do y'all think Simon gonna pay that damn car off? Probably not. He's probably not gonna pay it off. He's probably not gonna pay it off. And it, like I said, it just made me think, oh wow, that's why she hasn't been driving that car. Yep, they said the plates are expired. So who knows? I don't know what's going on with that car. Hey, Boggs girl, and hi everybody that's coming into the chat. Yeah, so with a lease, I know because I leased a car before. So with a lease, you can lease it, but it also tells you the buyout amount. Like at the end of your lease, it says this is what the car will be worth. So you can lease it, and then at the end, you can buy it off. So if you want to, so you can pay it off. What you said? You said. No, so sexy Libra, with regards to the Royals, oops, I'm sorry, I selected the wrong one. So sexy Libra, you said, does she have to give the car back? So pursuant to the prenup, they're saying that Simon needs to, because it's a lease, he needs to pay the lease off, and she needs to get the title, because I guess that was one of the things in the prenup, that he has to give her the car. Who knows? Right. Simon said he ain't paying nothing. Right. So you can just saying, oh, you cannot refinance a home you do not own. Porsha has to be able to outright refinance it. I was on Tasha K's page. She allegedly spoke to Simon. Porsha not getting enough. Y'all keep saying that. Listen, that's so crazy that y'all saying that, Tasha spoke to Simon, and that, Simon ain't paying nothing, because Listen, when I left the courtroom and the judge made that ruling, that was the first thing that came in my mind. I said, listen, if it was me, listen, just take the house because I ain't paying nothing. So, and y'all keep saying, that's funny, y'all keep saying Simon said he ain't paying because I said, wait a minute. So he was deported out of the U.S. They can't do nothing to him. He's not even a citizen. Like, he don't even live here. Y'all literally deported the man. He can't come back if he wanted to. So there's nothing that they can do to him. If he didn't pay it, there's nothing that they can do. It's not, they can't go to Nigeria and get him. They're not going to do anything. So if he doesn't pay her, she's going to have to take it out of the equity, and that'll be that. You know, and if she can't get it, she just won't get it because there's no way for them to enforce a prenup in another country. I mean, this is a legal matter. It's not a criminal matter. There's no excuse. There's no excuse for Porsha to not have an extra vehicle unless she is making less than $1 million and is still paying from that $1 million. So y'all keep talking about that daycare suit. I'm sure she probably had insurance because, you know, I used to own a school, and I know when I had it, we had to have a certain amount of insurance. So, you know, with regards to that daycare thing that y'all talking about, I'm sure she had insurance. But, you know, Porsha should still have some money of her own, y'all. I mean, she talks about her Go Naked hair and her sheet business. And then y'all, you know, should understand that Simon was still giving this woman money every month. Where is that at? Right. So Thelma, let me kind of explain to you how it works when you do not have the property in your name. So they actually already have this in the prenup. So you can, let me kind of explain to you. So let's say I bought a house and I'm paying a mortgage, right? The mortgage is given to me based on my credit. I can then go and add my children to the title, because if something happened to me, guess what? They don't have to go to probate court. They already inherit the house. But what they also inherit is the payment. Obviously, no matter if it's come in my name, anybody can pay it. So with regards to that house, Porsha's name is not on the mortgage, but according to their prenup, Simon has to put the home in a trust. Now, the trust has to have both of their names on it. Now, what happens with that is it allows her now to refinance the property. But what they're saying is Simon he didn't do it yet. So the judge is like, look, we'll give him 30 days. So we'll see, because if what the judge is saying, if Simon does not put it in Porsha, I'm sorry, not Porsha's name. If Simon does not put it in the name of a trust for both of them, then the judge is saying he will be open to doing it. Said Tasha K is a fool. Hey, I mean, Tasha K spoke on it, but I was thinking it because look, I mean, you done kicked me out the country. Listen, if you don't want me there, you don't want my money either. So that's kind of how I would have saw it. And thank you, Nola, darling, for the super chat. You said Tasha K actually talked to Simon. And I believe that Tasha K talked to Simon because some stuff y'all was putting in the chat that I couldn't record, y'all put in the chat. I know y'all didn't get it from me because they told me to turn the thing off. So y'all had to get it from somebody, child. So she had to talk to him. Right. If the house, you know, so right. Then that's the thing. That is the thing. So with regards to this court order, if the house is foreclosed on, you know, Porsha still can sell it really before it's foreclosed on if she finds a buyer. But paying the mortgage, if the mortgage ain't paid and they take the house is gone. It's over. Well, here's the thing, Alicia. Simon signed a prenup saying that if they got a divorce, that Porsha could have the property as long as she refinanced it and took it out of his name. So he couldn't put it in a trust to his kids because he already signed for her to have it. So he gave it, pretty much gave it to her as long as she can refinance it. Exactly. What was she doing with all her money? So, well, here's the deal. Porsha said in court that she had been paying a mortgage. Now, she couldn't tell us how much it was. She said it was 20,000 and Simon said it was 50. And if you think about it, even if Simon was saying it was 50 with the expenses, there's no way that the mortgage would be 20 and the upkeep would be 30. So somebody lying, and I'm going to say it was Porsha, because if you paid the mortgage for 3 months, as you say, but you don't know how much, yeah, I ain't buying it. Well, here's the deal. Okay, you said, okay. Sherry read, Porsha better get that judicial order enforced to get that car and house. So here's the deal. This order does not apply to the car. And let me just kind of like make sure you understand this. So a car is different. It's not the same as a house. So keep in mind with a house, you really take the title and it is placed in your name. The judge can't do nothing about that car. So if Simon does not pay it off, the judge can't do anything. Now the judge can, get the judicial deed for the property, not the car. The car is just, Simon would literally have to pay that car off. So it would be like me selling my car. So I sell my car to somebody, they pay me. I'm going to go and, write it up, bill of sale that I sold a car to them, transfer the title to this person. That is what Simon would have to do for the car. But if he don't pay it, there's nothing the judge can do. Oh, okay. Okay. Are you talking about the content creation class? Is that what you're talking about, Sexy Libra? Oh, somebody got it. Somebody, sure, listen, Alicia. I was thinking the same thing. I don't know what that's all about. I tried to be open. I said, well, maybe he's paying for the schooling and things like that. I was thinking the same thing, girl. Like, how you worth 300 million, talking about 2,500 a child? I would have your ass in jail. Okay. Don't play with me about my child support. Okay. But yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Alicia. How you paying 20? That's what I was thinking. But so this is what I learned when it comes to like child support. A lot of times people would negotiate their own price. And then if you think about it, if you really have a father that's in their kid's life, like I wouldn't really be concerned about the money. If you taking care of your kids, that's less I got to do. So maybe it was that type of thing. What I did learn about Simon in court is that he had custody of 2 of his kids. I shouldn't say custody. He had joint custody. So in a joint custody situation, you do get child support, but it's going to be reduced tremendously. So maybe it was that situation because he did say that 2 of his children, he had joint custody. So maybe it is those children. And that's the reason why it was only 5,000. Right. Because 300 million, yeah, maybe that's correct, Boggs girl. Right. Yeah, and that's maybe they agreed to it because I was thinking the same thing. But again, he stated in court that he did have custody. So, having custody and paying child support sometimes is different. And again, maybe it's not court ordered. So if it's not court ordered and you guys agree and say, hey, I'm going to pay you 5,000. And again, if he's paying her $5,000 and he's taking care of everything, that's still a win-win because, you literally getting 5,000 extra money if he's, buying her clothes, school, paying for their medical and everything. So, I mean, although I get what you're saying, 300 is a lot, but I guess if he's taking care of everything, and in all honesty, I mean, I feel like in a co-parenting situation, I would want to more than anything, have a clear understanding and be able to work with the other parent more so than, I'm going to take you to court. I need to get the most money that I can get. I mean, I feel like you only have to do that when you got deadbeats. Like, you're not doing what you're supposed to do. So I got to take you to court. Tasha K had proof that Porsha knew all about his scams. Right. Listen, Porsha knew. Porsha knew. Whatever he was doing, she knew. Stop the lies. Tasha K had proof that Porsha knew all about his scams from when they were dating. Porsha knew Simon. Right. She knew all of these things, but it seems like what she did was used it when it was beneficial to her. Gloria, wait a minute. Gloria out here clowning. Gloria says Simon paid all the bills at the house. She effed up. Simon can come over here any day. Gloria, girl. Sounds like Porsha and Jennifer are good friends too. Jennifer, are you saying Jennifer Williams? Who is Jennifer? And the other kid's mother is not a Porsha kind of woman. And listen to this, though. This seemed like a stretch in court. She said that Simon's kid's mother reached out to her. I feel like Porsha was telling some truth with some lies. I feel like she was telling some truth with some lies. And I'm going to just tell y'all why. Because when Simon said that his kids was living with him, and he said Porsha filed during the week that he had his kids, which he ultimately had to leave with his kids. Simon asked her for additional time, and she said no. She didn't give a damn about that man's kids. She didn't care about his kids, but then got on national TV and said her daughter asked about Simon, and she texted him and he didn't even reply. Then had the nerve to take her crazy looking self in court and say the same thing. And I'm thinking, like, girl, are you dumb? So this man had to leave a house that he bought and put $2.4 million with his kids, and they had to either go back to their mothers or, I don't know where they live. How did you think that would, make him feel to just, I said Porsha couldn't have cared too much for his kids because the house is big enough to, you could have said, okay, I'm gonna give you more time, but she didn't do that. She said that she wanted him to leave. She wanted the prenup enforced, and he had to leave with his children. They said that in court. So it's like, you didn't care about that man kids. Yeah, she did. She said that, she said that the mother had reached out to her to come and get some things. And then she said that what she said in court is that the mother was concerned about Simon, and something about she had paid the child support. That's what she said. So I don't know, but I'm just like, girl, you didn't care about his kids too much, because it seemed like you would have been like, okay, we getting a divorce, we gonna, you whatever, you stay on your side of the house, I'll stay over here. But that woman didn't care about that man kids. Porsha is concerned about her and her daughter. She don't care about his kids, which is really a narcissistic trait, because she wanted him to care about her daughter, wanting to talk to him, but you didn't give a damn where his kids even laid their heads at. Somebody said probably gave that woman $100. Who knows? Who knows? But somebody, put in the chat about doing a live. So let me see who did that. So I think with that, why don't you send me a message on Instagram? Because I try not to do videos that, most of the people don't want to watch. And everybody is not wanting to do content creation. Did you hear her say? So yes, Thelma girl, I heard her say our kids, and she was just playing on the court because, again, you didn't give a damn about his kids. You didn't care because he had to leave with his kids. You didn't care about that man kids. I heard her say, our kids. But I feel like she was playing on the court at that moment because you didn't send Dennis' daughter out. Like, she living comfortably in a house that her daddy didn't put $2.4 million down, but these kids had to leave. And the way that I was feeling when I heard that in court, I was like, dang, Porsha is low down. It made me remember what Cordell said that she did to his son. And I'm like, wait a minute. She's sitting in court saying our kids, but these are the same kids. And that is when Simon's attorney was like, didn't you have to leave with your kids? And he was like, yes. I feel like she was just playing on the court to try to make it seem like she felt like that they were a family. But girl, you didn't care about that man kids. Well, Alicia, with the deal that fell through in Dubai, we don't really know what that was, because what I was gathering from Simon's attorney is, well, we know Porsha ain't that bright, but I think it was something that she did not understand and she assumed it to be something else. But think about this. Who files for divorce because you feel like your husband is asking you to do something you don't want to do? Just don't do it. So she filed for divorce and said she filed for divorce because she felt like he was doing a scam. What? Girl, bye. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. So I don't believe that. I feel like that was just something that she was using. And you are absolutely right. Kids can see your real spirit no matter how fake and phony you are. You say her daughter. But again, I'm trying to find, somebody asked me about was that you, Sexy Libra? You asked me about the content creation class. I think if you're interested, reach out on like Instagram and send me a message, because I assume that people will be interested, but a lot of people not really interested. I mean, being a content creator, I think you can be successful, but it ain't easy. So I don't want people to think that it's easy, but it's definitely attainable. When I started, if y'all was watching my videos, I used to do the voiceovers, and then I got tired with those. But one of the reasons why I started doing the voiceovers, and I could tell y'all this, is because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So that was the only thing I knew how to do. So I think with the content creation, it is levels to it. But I mean, I still like the voiceovers. Sometimes I still do them. But I think I enjoy these a little bit more. If y'all recall, I started doing the voiceovers, and after a year or so, almost 2 years, so I'm right at 2 years now. So I would say maybe a year and a half I was doing the voiceovers. I got bored with them. Then I started doing the videos. But what I learned is the algorithm changes. So I'm like, wait a minute, I got to start doing live. So it's kind of, I really believe it's really levels to the content creation, but I believe you can go a lot of places. You can do a lot of things. I believe you can make, money. I believe with the content creation, I feel like you can make as much money as you're willing to work. If you're willing to put out more content, you're going to make more. But it's all in what you're wanting to do. But if you're interested, just reach out to me on social media. You said their mama, Nola said their mama probably came to whoop her. Probably. Oh, Boggs, girl, you are in the beauty industry, so don't tell me you doing people hair and you ain't got no pictures, girl. Because how you doing that? Thank you, Thelma. Boggs, girl, let me just call you to the front of the building, girl. How you in the beauty industry, girl? Talking about you missing a content creation. Do you know when I find somebody, the first thing I be like is, give me your Instagram. Give me your look, girl. You is missing out. Like you missing out on so many customers. I don't know what. All you need to do is get your camera going. That's all you need to do, girl. You is playing. Simon allegedly said he has no desire to. I mean, think about it. After they done put him out, would you want to come back? Like, I ain't mad at him. Like, listen, y'all. So did y'all have to lock that man up? Y'all could have told that man, listen, get up out of here, and I'm gonna give you until this day, or we gonna like you. Why y'all had to put that man in jail? Y'all had to put him in jail. Yes, Boggs girl, you are overlooked because nobody, in this world, listen, I'm old school. I had to get with, the current technology and the way things are going. If you don't have social media and you provide a service, you're doing yourself a disservice. Because I'm going to be honest, if you don't have social media, you is not doing my hair. I'm being honest. If you don't have social media, unless I really been going to you already, you ain't really finna do nothing for me. I mean, because I need to see what people saying about you. So yeah, you doing yourself a disservice. And in all honesty, you don't got to be fancy with it. Just put your camera up, and then as you go, you will learn more. I think that's the number one thing that people miss out when they be like, I can't do this, I can't do that. Just do what you can do for now. And as you learn, you'll learn different things. Don't be trying to figure it out, because if you're trying to do that, you're not going to work. Oh, you do aesthetics. So what do you do? Eyebrows, eyelashes? What you do? Boggs girl. All right, y'all. It's gonna be. We have been on here almost 3 hours. So, like I said, if you interested, I mean, you can send me a message on Instagram. I can only tell you what I've learned. What I've learned about content creators is a lot of us know different things. Like, I'm actually going to be getting over on Twitch soon, but I'm going to stream. Like, I'll use my one computer and I'll do, what am I trying to say? YouTube. And then I'm going to use my other computer and do Twitch. So it's so many levels to this content creation space, but a lot of times I'm not on like Instagram and all of that because it's a lot. Like, you'll find a lot of people that does a lot of their content on Instagram and, Facebook. So once you get in it, you'll learn. So you do body contouring. What do they do? Like, get your butt bigger? What's body contouring? So what they do? Lasers, medical, chemical. I know what chemical peels is. Okay. So you do that, girl. Okay. So if I want my booty bigger, I'm gonna reach out. I don't want my booty bigger, girl. It need to be little child. All right, what y'all saying in the chat? All right, y'all. So I'm out of here. I will see y'all later. See how I'm progressing. This is my second time being on here for 3 hours, and y'all know I'll never be on here that long. So I'll see y'all later.
She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's too hot. Lakeysha Keysha.